What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Meet the Critters. I am Kyle.
And I'm Joe.
And we're back. I apologize we took last week off. We're back. Yes. I know for a little bit there we were starting to feel like that dad that, like, the divorce, it was messy, and it's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be there on Saturday. Don't you worry. We're going to Six Flags. And then you're just sitting on the steps waiting for the headlights, and it's like, guess we're not going to Six Flags. Here. We're going to do better. Yeah. It's Pip, I see your comment. We're going to get into it for sure. So yeah, I live in a very sadistic climate that hates us. And we got 4 feet of snow in 2 weeks. In late March and April.
I'm glad that we didn't get that.
Dude.
We got hit with a little bit of snow, but nothing like that. We got high winds and some other stuff that happened, but yeah.
Well, the first storm we got, I think I did the podcast that night. Or no, I plowed that night. But like, it was nothing. It was like nice and powdery. Like, again, it was 2 feet of snow. It sucked, like, to deal with, but it went off without a hitch. Extra money in the pocket. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. This storm, it started off with super high winds. And it was like, it wasn't a super long storm. It was probably 12 hours, which is a decent storm. But when you think about the fact it was 2 feet of snow in 12 hours, that's 2 inches of snow an hour.
Nonetheless, it's not like it was a light powdery stuff. It was that heavy wet stuff.
It was heavy wet. So I completely slept through my alarm because for those who are listening, I plow for the town. I do all the back roads. I live in a real backwoods town, hence the name. Backwoods town in like the middle of New Hampshire. And I have all of the back roads, dirt road back roads to these towns that are basically goat paths. Some of them are better developed now, but they get rough. So I completely slept through my alarm, and like, you know, when you wake up, like, it reminds me of like when you're late for school as a kid and you wake up and you know you're screwed, or like when you wake up late for work, you're like, wake up to like 3 missed calls and everything because our power's out, so we have no service. So I didn't get any of these calls, and I'm like, oh boy, so it's 5, and I run out, and at this point I'm like, oh yeah, we got snow. All right, cool. We'll just start hitting the route. About 100 yards out of the driveway, I went, oh no. This isn't good. Like, this is not just a regular storm. And we didn't have power for 4 days. It wasn't 2 feet. I think it was, where we are was obviously the center, and we got like 20 inches. And I forget how many trees they said came down, but it was like all of them. Like, there were so many trees down. So we all went out at 5. I was trying on a couple roads to get to, and you could maybe get 100 yards into the road, and it's all the saplings and everything are all heavy with snow, so they're all in the middle of the road. And then, like, you look through them and it's like oak trees, and it's just down because the ground is just completely thawed. Yeah. So as soon as any weight got on any of these things, it was a disaster. So me and another guy on the crew ended up having to meet up because we couldn't get to any of our spots, like any of our routes. So we're like, what do? We can't get a hold of anyone because no one has any service because of the storm. And I got a little snippy with one of the cops at one point. So I plowed out the library. I'm like, this is the only place I can get to. Might as well do it. And one of the local cops came up and was like, you guys even have a plan? And I was like, for this? I can't get a hold of it. Like, I may have said a few choice words that then the officer was like, all right, well, if you need anything, let me know. Again, there's 3 cops in town. Like, and most of them have seen me gut animals in the driveway. They're like, I don't care. Like, he's plowing up the roads. I don't care. So we had to, like, make a route out of town. Like we had to be able to actually get out of town. So me and another guy went off and did that, cleared a bunch of trees, and then started making our way back in. And by what felt like 1, and it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock, it was absolutely insane. At one point, I was just trapped in the middle of the road. There were 6 trees down behind me. 1 tree came down in front of me while I was trying to plow another road, and I watched the tops of the other 2 trees next to it come down 20 yards in front of the truck. Like, it was nuts, like, this whole situation. But the one thing I will say is, like, I love my freaking town, and everybody was just on it. Like, no one was on the road that didn't have. Well, there were a handful of people that were on the road that didn't have to be, and then they were no longer on the road because they flew off of it. But like everyone was out because again, no one could get anywhere. So there were everyone who was out plowing, like their contracts were like, okay, like we got to pull trees, we got to do this, we got to do that. Like we have to do this. We're the ones doing it, and yeah, I put about 13 hours in that day, lost because we were like, we're cutting it off at night because we can't do anything in the daylight. We're definitely not doing anything in the dark. So we all went in, light bar ripped off the truck, scratched to heck. 99% of it is like, it can get buffed out, but it's all the saplings and shit just going against the truck. And the next day was spent with me in the truck, following a dude in a tractor with a guy with a chainsaw. And we cleared 10 miles of road like that. And that took about 13 hours. But it was like,
that was a slow 10 miles.
Yeah. Like, and like we were getting to houses that, again, we didn't get plowed. Like the roads didn't get plowed. So there was 20 inches of now, and it was like 45, like outside. Like it wasn't cold. So now it's sopping wet and heavy. And we cleared a bunch of people out. We had a couple places we had to get to. So like an ambulance could get there if they needed to for some people, like older people in the community and stuff. But the second we pulled out of the driveway to head to the first road, chunk of ice came down, smacked the windshield right in the corner. So now I got a nice big old crack in the windshield, and I got to get my truck inspected this month.
Yep. Yeah, my windshield's cracked too, so I feel the pain on that.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see.
I know we got some
Canadian, Digger, Logan, my brother's in here, Rachel.
Yeah, we got my buddy Zach in here trying to ranch. He's my you're my YouTube husband. He's my TikTok husband. We're in the middle of trying to start a trend. We're starting a staring contest.
There's a lot of different types, Pip. You got the nice light, fluffy stuff on a cold, brisk day. You got the heavy, wet stuff. You got the snow mixed with ice. You got the light snow that has ice put on top. You got the freezing rain. And if you're really lucky, you'll get 4 of those in one storm. Like the last 2-foot storm we had, we started the day with 9 inches of just nice fluffy powder, got all that cleaned. Then it turned to freezing rain, then sleet, then snow again, then another 8 inches of powder. So to put in perspective for people in the South that don't understand how those roadways get cleared, like you're not just pushing 12 inches of snow, because it's not. It's 8 inches of snow and 3 inches of ice that's now insulated under 8 inches of snow. So it's, in that storm, my stable tracks in the truck gave out, like, because they got so packed full of snow, and I was working so hard to push like all those roads, because again, it's just a nightmare that like I had to go in, like my truck wasn't. At one point I was just in 2-wheel drive. It's crazy. Flamethrower, exactly. That is absolutely how we do it up here. He's in Mississippi, so I give him shit all the time of just like,
look at all this. And he's like, I have gnats and humidity. Ooh.
Yeah. We still get humidity up here too. It just doesn't last as long as you guys.
No, but I feel like
we get the nasty, hot, wet, humid summer weather too. We don't even get a good dry summer.
It's constant. It's just you're cutting the air.
Yep.
That's the fun part.
Yeah.
I went kayaking. I went kayaking in my pasture. That was fun.
I seen that video.
Yeah. I have a lake in my pasture now because again, on top of all the snow, all we've gotten is rain.
Same. We've gotten hit so hard with rain. We actually pulled the equipment out. We're not doing any more dirt work because it's not even worth it. We're just riding on the belly pan of the dozer and stuff.
Right.
I walked out the back of the shop. Was it yesterday morning when I got here? And there was a river coming off that big hill. Luckily, I dug a pretty deep ditch around the backside of the shop. Otherwise, we would have had water inside probably. That's how much water was coming off our hill. With the clay ground we got here, it's ridiculous.
Well, that's what Canadian Farmstead pointed out, where he's like, how do you have such sandy soil, but you have a lake in your pasture? And it's like, our water table is super high. Like, I think our well to the house and to all the outside waters, the shop, everything is 20 feet. Like, it's a dug well at 20 feet. And we've never run dry.
That's crazy. The well that we just had put in for the shop, it's 105 feet deep. And we got good pressure and stuff, but we also we've been blessed and cursed with a lot of water on our property. It's a blessing because we should never run out, but it's a curse trying to do dirt work and stuff. I've got a spring that feeds my house. There's a spring that's next to my pond. There's a spring that feeds my pond. I counted 5 more springs just behind the shop, and I know there's 2 more at the top of my property that I know of.
Yeah.
On top of everything else we've got going on. Like, there's not a good spot on this property that doesn't have, I mean, it's good because I could develop some more springs and have multiple access points, but at the same time, to have it dry right now to do anything, it's non-existent.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, because it's like, I could very feasibly hand dig a well if I really need, like, in a very bad situation, I could hand dig a well, or go over to my neighbor's house who has all of the excavation equipment and just be like, hey, and he'd be like, sure. So it's like, that's nice. But again, the downside is I have a lake in my pasture that I was able to fully kayak in, like, do the wobble and everything. I was like, this is insane.
Yeah. On the plus side, I could have multiple ponds if I wanted, but I don't fish. So,
yeah. But yeah. And the pig pens are a disaster.
It's bad. I ended up moving my last 2 sows out of the upper pasture in the pine tree grove. I ended up moving them out of there because it was so muddy. They were throwing the mud up and kept grounding the fence out, and they were running loose like all last week. The 2 sows were out, and it's just been a mess. So I pretty much got all the animals down by the house besides the cows, and even the cows really need to be pulled out of there.
Yeah. It's like
you have nowhere to put them.
Yeah. The breeders are good because they're up in the back pasture, like the big one. So it's like they are living high on the hog, no pun intended. And we also got a new shelter for them. I don't know if I mentioned that on here, that we got a new shelter for the pigs. My neighbor just sends me a text at like 8 o'clock at night one night, and he goes, hey, someone shot this, so I'm going to bring it over tomorrow. And it was just a shed, like a decent sized shed with 3 giant holes in the side. And I'm like, all right. I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, perfect. Yeah, I can use that for something. I didn't even know what I was going to use it for yet. I was like, cool, perfect. And I texted a friend, and he just goes, it got shot at? And I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't even question that. Like, it wasn't even a quarter of a second of a thought of, wait, why did someone shoot it? I went, oh, someone shot it. Okay, that's completely fine and rational. It makes complete sense. But then it turns out no one shot it. He was just being funny. He picked it, which is, again, just as a New Hampshire thing. Like, if somebody just randomly shot a shed that was on a property, be like, yeah, that makes sense. Equally for New Hampshire, he just picked it up with his grapple truck. He just reached in and grabbed it, put it on the truck and brought it over to the back of his property, which I'm like, that's equally as great. That's equally as good of a story. But then he put it on a bunch of logs. He's got a sawmill, so he's just got a bunch of pine logs. So I made a brace underneath it with 2 pine logs on the sides and 1 in the back that I had to nail in. And then he just picked up the front with chains with his skid steer, brought it down his driveway, down 153, which for those who don't know is the main thoroughfare through my town. We just brought it up the road, down back into the pasture, got it through the gates, dragged it all the way back up, and they are like, oh, the pigs are so happy. And it was about a day and a half or 2 days before the storm. So I was like, thank God they had that.
Yeah.
Because again, that powdery stuff, they can deal. It's fine. It's inconvenient for a day or 2. And then they melt out a spot and they get good bedding and they're fine. But that wet, heavy stuff would have been miserable.
Yeah, they'd have been just covered with it.
Yeah. And they were anyway. The horse is an idiot. The horse just in all weather. Like we pull him in from the big pasture, like during storms and stuff like that. Cause like we're responsible with our animals, I guess. I don't know. I'm like, I wanted to have a stall like to get into out of the weather. The entire storm, every time I pass the house, this idiot's just standing there with 3 inches of snow on his back. I'm like, are you trying to die? At one point, I pulled in and he was laying down. And I was like, because everything had already gone wrong during the day. Like, I had to park my truck because I was stuck and somebody was driving me home. And I'm getting out of he pulls in and he goes, is your horse dead? And I was like, probably at this point, like today, with the way today's going, probably. And I was like, actually, that would probably be like, that would brighten my day.
And I was going to say, don't make no promises.
That would be a good day, or like a silver lining to the day. And again, we're in this single cab F-350. It's me in the passenger seat, the driver, and then the dude that's been driving with him all day, all hunched up in the middle between us. And the guy in the middle just goes, nah, I see it breathing. I'm like, fuck. Like oh, and then on top of that, again, so we had no power for 4 days. And I had 800 pounds of pork in the walk-in. So my generator that we have was on the cold air intake the entire time. I had to throw out most of the refrigerator, like didn't have heat, didn't have anything in the house. Everything was in that shop on the walk-in and freezers to make sure everything was good. But again, if this had happened in January, I'd be like, all right, whatever. I can run the cold air intake and I can figure it out as it go along. Yeah, it was 60 degrees 2 days after we got 2 feet of snow. So I was like, can't do that. So I had to cut both pigs. They were monster sows. One was 305. The other was 475. And I had to cut both of them with no power, all by hand. Luckily, they were all sausage. So it was like literally everything went in contractor bags.
Yeah, just hocking it off the bone. And
oh, yeah. Into contractor bags, into the chest freezer. I'm like, I know it's not going to freeze solid, but it'll be cold. Like, I won't have to worry about it. So we got that. I got that done. That night, I was like, I don't want to eat McDonald's again, because I would like drive into West Ossipee, like the town that's like half hour, 40 minutes away, to like just get food and like sit with cell service for like 20 minutes to like just relax from the day. And I was like, I want to like just sit at like a bar and like have a burger. That's all I want. That's it. I ended up having to drive an hour because every place and this was on me. I was not prepared. Preparedness was not correct. I didn't have any cash. So no place was accepting cards because they had just gotten power back. They didn't have any of their things back up. So I had to drive an hour to this bar we used to go to when I was drinking. And I like walked in and the bouncer's like, what's going on, man? And I must have looked like hammered dog shit because he just looked at me like, hi. And I looked at him and I was like, can you just put me in a corner somewhere? Like, just put me, I don't want to take up any of like your valuable space. Just stick me somewhere. He's like, okay. And I go sit in the corner and he comes over and I got a non-alcoholic Corona. I was like, this is not going to drive me to drink, but I just need the placebo of like a beer at the end of this. And I get there, the bouncer comes back over. He goes, well, I see it. I'm like, Canadian Farm Stand. Hey, Kyle, there's this great show. There's this great show with a guy named Tim. Great tips on being prepared. I'm aware. I thought of Tim the entire time. And I was just like, God damn it. This is awful. And I haven't listened to a goddamn thing he said. And I consider Tim a friend of mine. And I've done nothing. He comes over and I just tell him, he's like, oh, you out of Maltboro? Like, still out of power? I'm like, I came from Effingham. And the look on this guy's face of like, you came this far? And I just told him, and he's like, holy crap. End up going home. Yeah, I was not prepared for any of this. The hard part is none of us were prepared. And then the line, like we had line crews all the way from California out here. California, I think the big ones I saw were Alabama, a bunch from Alabama, Wisconsin, but we had people from Florida, Georgia, basically the entire East Coast and some of the West Coast flew out to deal with this. Yeah. Like over 300 poles just in our town were broken.
Yeah. I know a couple local companies around here were up New Hampshire, Maine. They were out in Maine dealing with part of that storm that hit hard up there.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. It was crazy for a while. And again, this is the first year I've ever done any cleanup or like any snow removal of any type. So it's like it is a weird thing now because it's like usually I'd be like, oh yeah, this storm's pretty bad. Like this sucks. I'm home with no power. And now it's like, no, you're out in it. Like you're out with all of it. And even like the next couple of days dealing with all the lineman crews and stuff like that. We did more. Like our crew did more clearing than the state in our town. Heavy set strippers. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, I had to find friggin' old Playboys that were in the house. It was awful. I was not prepared at all for any of this. I didn't have a generator for.
I don't know how to use the old stuff anymore.
I don't know how to use this anymore.
God, I gotta flip through pages. This is crap.
I gotta move them really quick to make it look like they're moving. It's awful. That was the worst part of the whole storm. Yeah. Man. But yeah, all fun and games here at the ranch.
Because after for a while there, I was literally telling Danae last day morning, I was like, man, I haven't heard from Kyle in a couple of days. I need to get a hold of him, check on him. I said, normally we talk just about every day.
Bear grease came real handy.
And then within 10 minutes, you were texting me.
Yeah. So. Well, then I called you. I called a couple people. I called you. I called Zach over here and just ranted for because it was the only time I had human contact really besides like the people I had been dealing with the entire time. So anybody outside, because my wife and kids went to my mom's and then my wife worked. So my mom had the kids. So I had everything was so focused. And then I would randomly get a call out to somebody. And then it was me just ranting for about a half hour, every single call. It's like, what the fuck is all this?
That's the joys of where the areas that we live in, though. You just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's freaking April and you're getting dumped on with more of a storm than we had all winter long.
All winter. This was the worst storm of the winter. Yeah, Zach. It was 78 when you called. I called him and he answers the phone like, what's going on, buddy? With that southern accent, just the happiest. He was having a great day. And then I just opened up on him with a cannon of just aggressive northern energy of just I'm just trying to feel your warmth of your state in my phone. Like,
yeah, but the people that are up here in the north, we wish all winter long, we wish for the warm weather. As soon as it hits 90, we're like, fuck it, we're done, we're ready for winter.
yeah,
Where's
every
the
time.
snow at?
Every time. It's awful. Every year I'm like, no, I'm going to enjoy the summer. And then the first time it hits 90 with 100% humidity, I'm just like, yeah, I guess we just live in the desert now. I guess that's just our lives now. Like, global warming is real. What the heck? Like,
I had to find my jacket this AM. We were in the low 60s. Low 60s. I'm out working in a cut off t-shirt. We were
oh my God,
poured concrete out here last week, and
yeah,
oh yeah,
I was in a t-shirt and overalls the entire storm, like the actual storm, which again must have also completely thrown everyone off. Where I'm just on the side of the road in a t-shirt and overalls, just hacking up trees, just bullshit, tossing them into the woods. So like,
yeah,
what? Like, but so we got power back to the house, and the shop. Like, I woke up in the morning to the furnace kicking on, and I'm like, and I throw my boots on, immediately run out to the shop to like switch everything over. No power in the shop. And I'm like, why? So exactly. I'm like, oh, come on. So like I'm putzing around. We had a couple lines in the house driveway fall that I had to clean up and a couple other random stuff. And I see like one of the bird dogs driving around, like the guys who like go out and see where everyone needs to go. And I literally Forrest Gump start chasing this dude down the street. Like he drove past quick and I full on just into the middle of the road, chased him. Oh, it looked insane. It looked absolutely insane. And I get him. I'm like, hey, my shop's still not on, and I've got thousands of dollars of product in there that like I need power back now. And they're like, oh yeah, perfect. And he was a local guy, but the guys he had working for him were from Florida and Georgia.
Yeah.
And then they end up waiting for a tree crew for like 2 hours, naturally. So we were all just shooting the shit, and I'm giving these dudes bacon and sausage. I'm like, here's some black bear sausage, and they're like, what? Like what? Where are we? What is this? Like, and they're from like rural Georgia and Florida, and they're coming up here, and I just pop out of the woodwork. It's like, you guys want some black bear sausage and beef bacon? And they're like,
hey guys, they probably went home.
We do.
We're pretty sure that guy was part Sasquatch.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably what they're thinking.
Oh my! I completely forgot about this, and I'm so glad I went down this tangent. One of the two dudes from Florida and 2 dudes from Georgia, and the 2 dudes from Florida, I see him talking, and one of the guys looks at me and he just goes, hey, are there moose up here? And I'm like, yeah. He's like a lot of moose. And I'm like, there's moose for sure. Like I've had them in the field. Like I've seen them here. Like they're here. And he looks at the other dude and goes, see, I fucking told you. And I was like, what? And he goes, no, we saw one. We saw a moose. But he didn't think it was real. Like, he didn't think that there were moose up here. Like, he thought it was like a big deer or something. And he's just like, I'm like, no, they're a moose for sure. I've seen them. I've cleaned their heads, like their skulls. They're here.
A moose, plural. I don't think so. Mooses.
Meeses.
Meese. Look at all those meese over there.
Look at all those meese running around. I think it's just moose. You're asking me for grammar? You're already at a bad question. Moosin. Yeah.
Moosin.
But yeah, it was all fun. We're back up, we're running, and then I had to make 421 pounds of link sausage. I've been just making link sausage all week. It's been insane. But it's done. How's that new smoke?
What flavors of link sausage did you have to do?
Oh, sweet, hot, and breakfast. So luckily, only 70 pounds was breakfast in the lamb casings. I hate lamb casings with a passion.
That's why I started using the collagen casings, just because with what little bit I'm doing right now, I didn't want to have leftovers to have to throw it away or freeze it and hold on to, a small amount with the collagen. I just put it in a, I just vacuum seal it in a small pouch and throw it
well,
back
it's
in
like
my
the casings weren't a problem. It's just lamb sausage in general, or like breakfast sausage in general. Because I don't know about you, I fine grind my breakfast. So, and I fill everything off the grinder. And it's like, again, as a professional looking back at it, I should have tossed in 10 pounds at a time and just run that. But no, I tossed in all 70. And
so with you're almost emulsifying it by the time you're pushing it through those small plate, and you got the mixer paddles in there mixing it as you're going, right? Your mixer paddles were installed, probably, I assume.
Yeah.
So see, with me, I do a fine grind, but I run it through my sausage stuffer, so I don't get that extra friction that causes the fat to come out in it.
Yeah. Your wife's being gross in the chat. No.
No.
And then it was sweet and hot. But like, to put it in perspective, it took me as long to do 70 pounds of breakfast sausage as it did 140 pounds. Actually, no, probably more. Like, again, you just whip through like regular sausage. So probably it probably took me 2/3 of the time to do the regular sausage as it did to do 70 pounds of breakfast. And then linking and all of it. And there's the argument back and forth of people. It's like, I think sausage is at least a 2 to 3 day, like link sausage is a 2 to 3 day event for me. Like the way I do it, because the way I package it and everything with the vacuum seal, you're not going to toss a freshly linked sausage into a cryovac.
It pushes right out the ends every time.
So it's like, I go through, put it on the casings, then pull it out, link it, then stick it in the cooler overnight, then have to go through, cut all the links, then have to go back through, pack everything. And again, I'm doing all the we're doing all this solo. You're handling so much sausage so many times. And I took such aggressive advantage of that on TikTok this week. Like, I was already on a high with a bunch of with a couple videos. Like, we'll get into that later, but like,
kinks.
I was like,
Jesus, my wife's going off the handle over here. She's talking about Italian sausage and kinky stuff.
Oh boy.
I can't deal with her.
No. That's why you guys can't have anything nice.
No, we can't.
But yeah, no, it's like, you just have to touch it so many times. Like, not in a gross way, but like, you have to pick it up and put it down multiple times. As to where, if you're just putting stuff in like just a cryovac bag, you can just feed it right off the grinder and you're done. Stick it on the cryovac, stick it on the vacuum sealer, and you're good. Yeah, I made a pretty aggressive. Your wife just brought it up. I sent it to you. I made a pretty aggressive TikTok of me just putting sausage in casings in very promiscuous poses. I'm getting too good at the edit. That's what it is.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I do, I do dream of the day that I can finally afford a vacuum stuffer with the linker on it.
Yeah.
That makes making sausage so much simpler.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You mix it, you grind it through your grinder mixer, you dump the whole freaking bucket in there, links and everything are done.
Yeah.
You're good to go. Yeah.
See, in the middle, it's one of those things. It's like, if I had one of those pneumatic stuffers, I'd be like, all right, this is fine. I can deal with it. I see it. I see it. And that's fine. But it's doing it off the grinder is a pain in the butt. And it's like, with the pneumatic one, like with the leg pedal, it almost gives you the time to link as you go. But doing it off the grinder, you're just full bore.
Yeah.
Going. But I don't know. We'll see. I still got it. Because I did it all on live too. And like, as I'm doing it, I'm like, I haven't done this much. Like, I haven't done this amount in a long time. And I'm like, all right, we still got this.
Yeah, I dread when somebody's like, "Do you do link sausage?" I'm like, "Not usually, but if somebody wants it, they're going to pay for
Yeah. Yeah.
it." Processing.
Tri-Oak Ranch. Are you still talking about processing meat or OnlyFans? No, it's my Only Hams. So if
I
you
was going to
guys
say
go
only
to
hams.
Only Hams, I still need to look. I need to look if that's an actual domain I could buy, and if it is, I might buy it and make that like put the money into making that like my official website because I think that's hysterical.
That is pretty funny.
That's pretty funny.
Oh,
So how is that new smoker? I'm dying. I haven't talked to you much about it because I've been running around like crazy.
so far, I'm still playing around with it. I just did my first batch of hams yesterday, and I run one small batch of bacons through it. I got to tweak what I'm doing just a touch. The big thing is figuring out how long to actually smoke it and how long to, I was going off of what they sent, and that's just fucking
That's crap.
outrageous. Like they want you to smoke hams. It was like 20 something hours by the time you're all done with their schedule.
Right.
And I had that cut down. Oh, it took me 14.
Yeah. It looks like I'm not buying Only Hams URL for $12,000.
All right. We're going to start a GoFundMe for
We're gonna
Kyle
start a
to get-
GoFundMe to buy Only Hams, and then I'm gonna go. This is dumb. I have $12,000. Why would I buy this stupid URL? I need way more things, more things than this.
Yeah. So yeah, the smoker on it, all the run cycles, figuring it out. Messing with the dampers and getting the draft right. And of course, it's been windy here, so the wind wants to push the smoke back down the smokestack. But just tinkering around and playing with it. I think I've got it figured out. I've got another batch curing right now. Bacons, they're technically ready to be pulled out and smoked tomorrow. Nice. And then the ham is just one big one off that sow, the Mangalitsa cross sow. Right. And that's probably ready to be smoked Tuesday.
Nice.
So a little bit more tweaking, a little bit playing, but I really like it. I mean, the cook and hold function's awesome.
Oh,
that is, I don't have to sit there and like stare at the temperature all the time and play around with, did I get my flames too hot? It's all digital. You type it in, set it at the hold function. Once it gets up temperature, it just holds it. And then you can just adjust from there. So for what I'm doing and stuff like you're doing and other small processors, that pro smoker definitely, with the cook and hold function it's a game changer. It's real nice. I do prefer like a smoker like you have with the wood smoke for flavor and stuff, but on a larger scale, trying to do it on a weekly basis, it's a lot to babysit.
It's such a pain in the ass. I love it. It's super fun and I enjoy it, but it's like you're doing it.
Yeah, when you're processing every day and you're trying to go from cutting to babysitting. Like yesterday, I processed those 41 rabbits for William over at Crooked Row Farms. Dropped me and Kyle off some nice hats. I got to get it sent out.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I did those rabbits, and it's nice when I'm in here because it's right next. It's not that far from the cutting table to play around with it, but you still got to stop what you're doing and just check it. Make sure you got sawdust in the pan. It's not like an automatic feed. I don't know what kind of smokehouses you had in the USDA shop, but we had the ones the compartment would hold like, I don't know, 20 pounds of moist sawdust, and it automatically fed down to the burner. And
Pip's down here making jokes. Is there an order form for scheduled pickup of meat like SRF? SRF was a disaster. That was such a disaster. But yeah, I think it's right around 60 pounds of bellies from those two sows because that's the only thing they wanted was bacon, the butt roasts out of the smaller sow, and the tenderloins and sausage. That's all they wanted. So it's like these. I cut everything into 5-pound slabs because I'm like, that's what my recipe's dialed in for. That I can now tweak now that I've done it a couple times, and it's just easier for me to shuffle all those around, and it'll be quicker cook time. But I'm still like, oh my god, that's gonna suck. because I do all of mine. I do mine on my off days when I'm home with the kids, like on the weekends. Because it's like, it's easy enough for me because I have the smokehouse on the snowmobile trailer that I can just whip it into the driveway and I can just run out the door real quick, stoke the fire if I need to, shuffle bellies around. But it's still like, you're attached to that all day.
Yeah. Someone for Christmas a couple of years ago, I can't remember, I want to say it was my father-in-law, bought me, it's like a little digital, it's got the probes, but it also has 2 meat probes. And then it also has a probe that actually hangs inside the smokehouse. Yeah. And there's a digital read that you hang on the outside, but it also hooks to a small one you can keep right in the house. Yeah. That would probably be beneficial for you.
I have one. It's not working properly at the moment. So it's like the last ones I did, I just kind of wung it. I'm like, okay, I know the temps rising. I'm just going to watch the temps. Like, I know we got good smoke. It's hot as hell. Like, we're going to be fine. Yep. But I need to look at a better digital setup for this time around. Because it's like, want to make sure. Because these are, again, some of these bellies are like this thick. Can't see it on my white face. It's right there.
That's going to be tricky to get your temps in the good smoke and everything else.
And now that I've done it a couple times, I know where the hot spots are. Yeah. So it's like, okay, these ones I already have mapped out in my head where everything's going that I can now kind of shuffle around. Because it's, again, like, obviously there are somewhat smaller ends of the belly depending on, like, but when you break down the belly, there is like a small end and a thick end. And when it's breaking it down into like thirds or halves, I'm able to now kind of shuffle those around in different spots.
Yeah. It's almost like a flat and the point on a brisket. It's thicker. Yeah. But they turned out great. The only thing that I didn't really like about the Pro Smoker is the electric burner that runs the sawdust pan is on a timer dial, and it only goes for an hour at a time. So you got to remember to keep going back and kicking it on if you want 5 or 6 hours. But if the sawdust pan is full when it runs out, it still keeps it because the hot embers in the bottom are generating smoke, which is kind of a nice thing. So now I figured it out. If I let it run out an hour before I want the smoke to be done, before I pull the pan off, it kind of lets everything finish burning out in the sawdust pan. It's just going to take me a few cycles to really get it dialed in and figure out what I prefer, and then figure out my cures for my bellies and stuff. Like these ones, they were a little bit saltier than I like. They weren't overpowering salty, but just a little bit more. So I think what I'm going to do is soak them in water I think I soaked those ones for an hour. So I'm going to soak for 2 hours, and I soaked the hams for 3 hours. But with the cycles and stuff, it's not completely automated. So I was up. I think I soaked the hams at 8 o'clock at night. I came back over at midnight and took them out to let them drip dry. And then I put them in the smokehouse with just I think 90 degree to kind of dry them out, get everything so it's tackier for the smoke to attach. And that was a 5 hour cycle. So I came back over at 5 in the morning, and put the sawdust pan in and got smoke rolling on them. And then it was all together. It was, I think I finished those at 9 o'clock that night. So I technically started the process. It was almost a full 24 hours to do the hams with all the steps that I did.
Well,
so
it's just with hams, that's to be expected. Yeah.
Yeah. But they were like the outside was a little bit like they were fully cooked hams. Like I could cut them up and eat them right out of the smokehouse. Right. I want a little bit lighter of a color than what I got. So I think I'm going to speed up the process and like bump the temperatures up quicker and see if that helps. So it's not, I like it like that, but when you're putting out a product that somebody's going to cook again anyway.
You want it. Yeah.
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 You still want
it's a process for sure. Yeah. Figure all that out.
Yeah. But the flavor on them was excellent. The smoke was perfect. I was very, very happy with the way they turned out. But other than that, I mean, construction's been held up by weather. We got the slaughter floor pads poured. I haven't shared that with anybody yet. And they'll be back Monday, Tuesday. We got good days, so I think the rest of it's going to be poured Monday. That'll be both the coolers and the flat spot where the new freezer and the packaging area and staging and all that's going to be. And then I talked to the Amish crew that are going to be doing trusses and steelwork, and he is supposed to be here in 2 to 3 weeks. They've gotten held back because of rain, which worked out because we've got held up because of the rain. So it's going to, kind of come together. So probably middle of May-ish, we'll have the shell of the building completed, I think.
Nice.
So yeah, just dealing with weather and stuff. It's just that time of year. You try to build in the spring and fall around here, it's going to be a mud fest, and you got to deal with the weather. And he was telling me the Amish crew is saying they're building an 80-foot wide barn right now. They're putting 80-foot trusses up. And with the wind and stuff we've been getting, he's only got him and 2 other guys to set 80-foot trusses.
That's insane.
So you get any kind of wind, you're taking a ride off the roof with the truss.
Yeah. So this is a dumb question, and I know it's a dumb question. I'm stating out loud it's a dumb question. Do the Amish use welders?
Yeah, they're allowed to, as long as they're doing it for work and not for personal gain. They're allowed to. There's a couple of Amish around here that do mechanics. We got one that's a small engine repair. We got one that's like the diesel. He works on generators, tractors, everything.
Do they wave it? Do they weld like it's a magic wand almost, where they're just like?
I don't know. I haven't watched the one, but
we don't even believe this is a real thing.
Yeah, running off their diesel. I think the one, because they can't plug it into the wall and run anything. I'm pretty sure he has like a portable diesel generator welder combo.
Nice.
Is what he uses.
Yeah.
But it's all the same. Like the guys that are coming here, they use all battery powered tools.
Yeah.
And they have a generator that charges them, but they're allowed to as long as they're doing it for work.
Yeah.
But they can't use it on their own farm building the barn for themselves.
Yeah.
Not supposed to.
Listen, I could be Amish if I could use electric power tools, an electric fence, and like Wi-Fi for like one corner of the woodshed that no one goes in.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll let everyone else put that math together. But yeah, like, all right, that was just a question I had. I was like, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, he said that, but I have questions. So it's good to know.
Yeah, 98% of the business that I do around me is with one of the Amish families. So
this will segue nicely. New TikTok series, Kyle Meets the Amish.
You need to what you need to do is link up with those ex-Amish. Have you seen those guys on like Facebook and TikTok and stuff? They do little short videos talking about their old Amish lives.
Oh, like the people who go on Rumspringa and then
they left the Amish community and there's a few of them that I see on TikTok and stuff now.
Yeah, I feel like me and them could very easily link up and come up to some of the same conclusions and thoughts. Like, I think that would be a pretty easy meetup. Or it would be like I might be the Amish community's worst nightmare, especially like back in my early 20s. Like if I lived in an Amish community, like near an Amish community, and I wasn't Amish, I would almost make it a point to like, oh, you're on Rumspringa? Come hang out with me. It's like I'm gonna be pulling Amish out of the community like crazy. Like they're gonna.
The thing is around here, you don't even know how many of the adult Amish guys I've drank and partied with.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like they get pretty rowdy when they get away.
Oh yeah.
As long as the bishop doesn't find out, or whoever the elder is, the community. We used to have Amish buggy races down the main drag in the one Amish community. We would block both ends of the road off. We get 3 or 4 of them that were all drunk up, and they would do buggy drag races.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would literally be like, hey, let's go to this bar. And then like 3 hours into drinking, I would just hand him a cell phone and be like, here, you want to play with this for a minute? And then like about 15 minutes in, I go, oh, so that's the internet. You can go anywhere. Here, I want you to go ahead and just type in.
They all know about it.
No,
Trust me. The ones around here, they come out on the job site and they're like pulling their cell phones out of their pocket. And then what they do before they go home, they just give it back to whoever drives them around on a daily basis. And then when they come back out, they're out there. Like the one crew, I was out doing a heating. We were doing a furnace, all the plumbing, gas lines and everything. And there was an Amish crew building the stairs. And I come out of the house, they're all sitting there playing games on their phones and smoking cigarettes. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, I love these guys. I pay them with 30 packs and stuff. I'm like, what? Like, they're fantastic. A lot lenient. That's a community closer to Erie, PA. But like out here, they're old school, but they're starting to transition to where they're technically only supposed to have like one cell phone for their business or one phone booth for however, but they get,
just some 18-year-old I snuck into a bar underage, and I just go ahead and type in X hamster. No context. Just here you go. Try this. But yeah, no, TikTok's been a wild ride for me. I have my first video over 1 million views. So that's pretty freaking insane. And the worst part, I did upload it onto here. But it's like the hardest part about it, I'm going to show it. But I need to say, I put way too much time into the editing and creating of my content. Like I do. I know I do. But I think it looks nice. I think it turns out nice. And I'm getting a result from it. And I see it. Then every now and then on TikTok, I'll throw a Hail Mary. Like I just need a slot filler so I don't have to like actually put in work to like get a good TikTok out. And that does thousands. Well, it turns out the message that I was portraying in this one really hit with a lot of people. And it was shared something. I think it's been shared over 50,000 times. Like over 1 million views. I think the last time I looked, it was at like 77,000 likes. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to play that for a second, just so everyone on here and everyone who watches it gets to enjoy it as well. And we're not going to get copyrights because we're not making money off this, so I don't really care. It takes two to break out into. Ooh, baby, you blame me, baby, I blame you. So that was it. That was it. And for those who are listening just on the audio and just heard the Morgan Wallen song, all that said was, in quotations, "Are you DTF?" And underneath it, it says, "Why, yes, I am. Dumber than fuck. Thanks for asking." And then it was just me slow rolling in a tank top with my leg up on a tractor. That was it. And it's, my phone literally feels physically heavier with notifications. Like I was showing Nicole, like I could do this on the notification screen, and every second it would be 15 people liked it, 20 people shared it. Like it's been 3 days. It's been literally 3 days of it. So, but with that, I've gained like, I think probably close to 2,000 subscribers or followers to my page. And I think I might have a sponsor in the works for my content. So I'm not going to say much yet, but
tied deals there.
Yeah. And it's like, I've also been, because that's the other thing, like when you have moments like this, you got to jump on them. So I have been hitting TikTok so hard, just pushing out as much content as humanly possible. And again, all my videos are getting a couple hundred more views than they would. Everything's getting a bunch of shares. And we're starting to figure it out. We're starting a staring contest where it's the stupid, again, it's all just so dumb. Like I get mad at myself that I'm doing it while I'm doing it and then giggle at what I just did. So I don't know. So a bunch of us, Zach included, we're all starting a staring contest on TikTok, and it's been pretty amusing. So I don't know. You need to get on TikTok. You just need to do it.
Tell my wife.
I'm telling you. She's in here. Danae.
I have to answer to her.
Danae.
She abuses me. TikTok. Behind the scenes, she abuses me, and I gotta listen to her.
I get it.
I'm telling everybody publicly, so if I disappear, you know what happened to me.
I mean, it's tough being a short king.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a lot smaller than me, but she's feisty.
I'll even put it this way. You're trying to make a go at doing content, and the fact that you are not on. Yeah, that doesn't mean he's going to. What's he going to do? Go out and meet him? No, they're all over the place. Who cares? They're all TikTok skanks. Whatever.
As my wife has a TikTok, but I'm not allowed to have one.
Right.
You guys know. You guys see who the controlling one is.
Yeah. You are. I will go as far to say this. You are missing out on opportunities for growth in your content not having a TikTok. Now that I'm in it and I'm seeing what's happening, and it's like, again, for a while, it sucks. It sucks a lot. Yeah, Canadian Farm said, apparently, well, no, I've been slowly trying to destroy his algorithm. I send Canadian Farmstead some awful stuff. Like, awful stuff. Midgets riding horses, all of it. It's great. But yeah. Oh, Canadian Farmstead, you're looking for those? Give me about 5 minutes after the podcast, and we'll get you all set. Yeah, it's all dumb. It's all dumb. But we're getting somewhere. So it's like, this is the first time where I'm like, oh, right, this makes sense now. Got it. Yep. Yep. I've been aggressive. It just kind of like started offhand. Like I did something, and then one of the other people in like the little community I have over in TikTok, they did one. And then it was like, oh, well, now I have to reply to this with an even creepier like TikTok to go with this. So now there's just been a whole bunch of us. And now today I was finally like, I tagged a whole bunch of other people, and I'm like, hashtag staring contest. We're doing this. Like one of the ones I posted today, I sat on the tractor. I put the camera right in front of it with the bucket up. So it was just the bucket, and it slowly lowered to reveal me sitting on the tractor bucket with my sunglasses on. And then I just put my middle finger up and lowered my sunglasses to my nose to reveal my other glasses. And it slowly just zooms in. Like, this is so dumb, but it's so funny. Like, it makes me laugh so hard, way harder than it should. But yeah, so everyone go follow me on TikTok. We're having fun over there. So we'll get you a TikTok. I'm just going to sign you up. I'm just going to make you one. I have your email.
I'll randomly start getting notifications on my phone about my TikTok. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at least my wife knows where it came from now, so I'm not going to be getting in trouble.
Yeah, like I'll make your like name like Blakesley Acres, and obviously, and then the bio is just like, I am a faithful man of God that loves my wife more than anything ever. Skanks get away. I want
bitches back off.
I want none of you. If I see any of your vagina lips with a ring light and a sundress, I'm going to be BS. Not even going to swear. I'm going to say BS. Just to prove today. Are you just realizing now I'm a terrible influence? Of course I'm a terrible influence. How are you supposed to teach your kids internet safety? I don't know, Danae. I'm their favorite YouTuber.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not doing a great job as is.
I was editing some shorts yesterday, and Gage is on the TV, and he goes, "Dad, can I get on YouTube since you're in here?" I said, "Yeah, no problem." So we don't let him just get on YouTube when nobody's around because, you know,
it's YouTube. I'm on there.
Yeah. First thing he goes to, he's like, "How do I find Kyle's channel? I haven't seen his videos in a while."
God damn it. I got to get videos out. That's the other thing about this. My YouTube has just been non-existent. Like, I haven't put any effort into, like, I tried the other day. I got half a video filmed or not even half, like a quarter of a video filmed while I was skinning out those sows, and I ran out of like storage in my phone. And I was just like,
Yeah.
okay, I need to go in, and I've got like these portable like SD card or that I can download them onto. Cause I like what I'll do is I'll save the full videos and just delete everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have like hours of YouTube videos, full YouTube videos that I need to take off so I can actually have space again. So tell him I will get a video. I will try my best to get a video out this week.
Yeah, I got to get a new tripod and stuff because I snapped mine. Oh, shoot. It's been a couple months ago now.
Yeah.
Trying to get content done and the freaking trying to move pigs, and they end up just demolishing that thing.
Everything.
I looked over, my phone's like in a mud hole, and the legs are all twisted and wadded up. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I just haven't like left the farm other than going to see my grandfather and taking care of his stuff to have time to go pick one up. I just need to order one online because I keep putting up, if I order it online, it's going to take a while to get here.
Yeah. Now I have to. Your kid knows. Yep. So I do.
Yeah,
I do honestly think about it when I am editing my videos because once again, I'm me and I know what I put in my videos and what I say with like the little clips and everything. And I'll be editing something and I'll just be giggling to myself. I'm like, this is funny and this is so wrong. And then I'm like, I'm Joe's son's favorite YouTuber. And then I just giggle more thinking of you having to explain what in the context of whatever that joke just was. So luckily, I have a moment where I feel bad, and then it just goes straight back to funny.
He's still young enough yet. He doesn't even catch a lot of that stuff. Like he doesn't. He doesn't even question it. So
the one I always go back to is I think it was when I was putting Nino in the freezer, and I was talking about incest, and I just like dubbed the Pornhub intro music behind me talking. We're having fun with it, folks.
That's a big thing. If you can't have fun doing your content, like it just makes it that much better. Really.
That's just it. It's like, again, like YouTube is, and again, I have gained a bunch of followers on YouTube. A lot of it's through TikTok because of the lives. Like now I have this whole spiel I do every 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes because there are new people cycling through. And I'm like, hey, if you guys are enjoying this, go to my main page, click on my YouTube link, go subscribe to my YouTube. Full-length videos. Everything. Yeah, Canadian Farmstead. Again. Yeah, because I literally have to say it every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Or else, like, you're wasting the opportunity of having... So, like,
I can't do that. I barely remember to promote shit on one in a whole hour.
But like, I need, now that I have more subscribers over there, I'm almost at 1,000. I'm 200. I think I'm at 800 subscribers on YouTube. And it's like, if I get to 1,000, then now all the more opportunities open up on YouTube. And I think I'm at 6,200 on TikTok now. And once I get to 10, then it's like, then you can actually start making money on your content because you are making content that drives the app. So it's like, I'm in this weird spot now where I've got that like nice pep again because we had like a big win. And I'm like, okay, all right. This isn't as exhausting and depressing anymore. Like, good things are happening. We can make this work. What's going on? Off Greg Peng. Of course, we're right about to jump off, but thank you so much for being here. Yeah. You got anything else, brother?
No, I got a few more update videos I got to edit for the shop and the farm, pig stuff. So I'm trying to keep up with all of it, but just been crazy busy.
Yeah, I hear you. But, well, speaking of plugs and all of that, where can everyone find you?
Here with Kyle, usually every Saturday on Meet the Critters, and then Blakesley Acres on YouTube and Blakesley Acres on Facebook. And if you need to reach out and contact us, if you're interested in coming on the podcast and talking about your YouTube channel, farm, ranch, whatever you got going on, something that kind of goes along with what we're doing, reach out to Kyle or I, and we'll get you scheduled to come on. We're always looking for new guests and new people to, promote. And we do enjoy, small channels that are growing with us. That kind of helps everybody out, we've noticed. So
yeah.
Just ignore my wife.
Don't laugh at us. Don't laugh at us. We are We are content creators, and they are called plugs. We are plugging our things. Jeez. Now I'm definitely making you a TikTok, and I'm going to say awful things. That bio is going to be rough. I might just spend the money to start you in OnlyFans too, just so it connects to it. And then it's going to be real bad. How dare you, Danae? Yes. So my plugs are wow. Your wife is aggressive tonight.
I know. It's been like this all day.
I'm not even gonna pull that one up on the screen. So you can find me everywhere at BackwoodsButcher603. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, if it came across your homepage, please make sure to subscribe. I'm also on TikTok at BackwoodsButcher603. We're trying to kill it over there. We're having fun. We're throwing stuff at the wall, that's for sure. If you're looking for content from me, that is where all my content is. I think I'm putting out like 6 TikToks a day, or trying to. Between self-filmed, random trends, and templates. I'm putting out at least 6 a day. So we have a bunch of content over there. Instagram is a wasteland that I've basically abandoned, but I'll plug it anyway. Go follow me on Instagram. If I start getting people over there, I'll start posting stuff, but I doubt it. Just follow me on TikTok. That's where I'm at. We're going to fight Congress. Yeah. Hypothetically, I don't need the FBI at my house. It's all a joke. Satire. All right, everybody. We love you. This was a fun one. But once again, everyone in the chat, we appreciate you. Everyone watching after the fact, we appreciate you. Everyone listening on, I think we're on Apple, Spotify, and whatever the Google podcast one is. You can catch us over there as well. So
we're on Fountain too, right? Pretty sure.
Yes, we are also on Fountain.
Yep.
So we love you guys. Keep up the good work. See you next time.
See ya.